My wife and I, we were two peas in a pod. Sure, we had our tiffs, but they were always over something trivial. Once, I got the cold shoulder for forgetting my mother-in-law's birthday. Naturally, I made amends, dispatched a bouquet via courier, and sweetened my wife's mood with a pair of new earrings. We'd agreed after that to give each other heads-ups on important dates. But you know, all good things come to an end eventually. This all went down at the start of summer. I got home just as my lovely wife was bustling around, getting the table ready. I noticed 3 plates set out. "Are we expecting company?" I asked. "Yes, imagine that, no. My second cousin reached out to me recently. We haven't seen each other since we were kids. He mentioned he'd be passing through town, so I invited him over. He should be here any moment," she answered, her cheeks flushed with excitement. "I don't recall you telling me about him. Do you have any photos?" I inquired while heading toward the bathroom. "Hold on, I'll check now," she called back to me. For a few minutes, I could hear the rustling of old photo albums as she carefully flipped the pages, scrutinizing childhood snapshots. "Look," she eventually said, "it seems like they might be at Mum's place. I can't find any here. But never mind, I'll show you later. Come on, sit down at the table." Just then, the doorbell chimed. My wife swung the door open, and there stood a strapping young man, maybe a decade our junior. "No," I said, extending my hand to greet him. Oliver grasped it firmly with a genuine smile. My wife, bustling around, helped him out of his coat and pointed him towards the bathroom. The dining table showcased a renowned roast duck, wafting aromatic steam, and a decanter brimming with liquor. To our gathering, I proposed pouring the drinks. Our guest gladly accepted, and as we clinked glasses, I learned he was a project manager at a construction firm, in town to scout locations for a new housing development. Throughout the evening, his wife's eyes rarely left his face. She showered him with adoring glances, tender smiles, and generous servings. He crashed with us for the night. I mean, it seemed kinda rude to send him off to a hotel so late. Come breakfast, I asked Oliver if he needed a lift. He waved it off, saying, "Thanks, but I'm hailing a cab." "Still got to find a spot to settle," he mentioned. "Oh, why bother looking? Maybe Oliver can stick around." My wife chimed in. I didn't see a problem with her brother bunking with us and nodded in agreement. One evening during his stay, I arrived home earlier than usual. In the hallway, I bumped into Oliver Chirpless, who quickly gave me a handshake before heading into the bathroom. Meanwhile, my wife had shut herself in the bedroom. I knocked on Emma's door, wondering if I could come in. "Yes, Noah. I just needed to change my clothes." "Got a bit messy making dinner," she answered after a moment. She opened the door and chirped, "Glad you got here early. Oliver's back too. Let's set the table and celebrate. We've got a reason." Her delight baffled me. I bought a car before he came here. Look, it's parked right under the windows. Looking out, I saw a gorgeous brand new Kia Rio. Throughout the evening, my wife did not stray far from her brother, and when he drank too much, continued to kiss him on the cheek. In the end, I had to drag her into the bedroom to listen to the ongoing display of brotherly love. It's been 2 weeks since Oliver showed up, and it didn't seem like he was going to leave. One day, a colleague brought tangerines to share with the team. Since my wife is allergic to them, I decided to bring them to my wife's mother. My mother-in-law, Luna, greeted me with a big smile and invited me to tea. Since there was little time left, I agreed. As we chatted, she inquired about how things were going. "Well, I mentioned how my brother is staying with us," I said, sipping my tea. "You're mistaken," she replied. Neither my husband nor are we lucky enough to have boys. We only have girls. It looks like we're commanding an all-female team. She chuckled as she headed into the living room. I was left alone, thinking about the events that were happening. What kind of stranger has moved into my own house? Later, my mother-in-law came up to me with old photographs, trying to tell me about each person, but her words flew past me unnoticed, and hurriedly saying goodbye, I jumped out onto the boulevard. I hurriedly made my way back, fueled by the urge to alert my wife that she had unwittingly harbored a swindler. As I unlocked our apartment and stepped in, eerie sounds emerged from our bedroom. Stealthily, I approached the door, and to my dismay, I found my wife entangled with her so-called partner. Seething, I yanked her hair, cornering her in a swift move. Oliver, blocking my path, received a firm punch to his jaw. I flung his garments at him, barking for him to scram. While my wife stammered attempts at an explanation, lunging towards me, Oliver, smirking, collected his belongings, dabbing at the blood trickling from his now wounded mouth, and vacated our abode. I stuffed my wife's belongings into a suitcase and placed it beside her in the hallway. My wife was yelling from the other side of the door, attempting to defend her actions, but at that moment I had no interest in hearing her out. Later, she took to waiting for me daily at the front step, pleading for a conversation. Eventually, I let her speak, though it did nothing to quench my disdain for her. She simply vanished off the map, a complete ghost. It emerged that my wife had secured a loan and handed the cash over to Oliver for the purchase of a vehicle. They had been exchanging messages on a forum before deciding to meet face to face, staging a charade right before my eyes. Seemingly, Oliver relished the thrill of duping me, reveling in my oblivious dismay. As she dabbed at her tears, my wife tried to evoke my sympathy, insisting she was remorseful and still held love for me. Yet, I reiterated my desire for her to cease shadowing me and to exit my life unequivocally. I remained baffled by her decision to partake in such a scheme and puzzled over what she hoped to achieve.